call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation.
You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. You wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me, put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny.
You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray De Niro, and we are back at it again with another episode of Future Financial Strategies. Going to be coming at you Thursday. Got to look at the calendar. October 19th. Now, we're almost into Bag Fortification Friday, folks. And this episode is actually going to very much be speaking to the reason you need to start believing and doing and acting upon the concept of Bag Fortification Fridays. Namely, because we're going into some harsh times, man. The money's drying up. Money's getting harder to come by. It's getting harder to get your hands on. Interest rates are skyrocketing. Mortgage rates are skyrocketing. Rent is skyrocketing. Savings are plummeting. People are dipping into their retirement to sustain their existing lifestyles. Wages are not going up. Everybody's mad about what they're getting paid. Companies aren't giving cost. I mean, like literally, cost of living increases aren't happening. It's getting bad all the way around. Now, I'm a firm believer of you get what you negotiate for, or lack thereof. I mean, in all honesty, if you're good and you're not taken care of, go take your business elsewhere. Someone will pay you what you're worth. Like if you know what you're worth, go get it. But the reality of the situation is a lot of people are not fortifying the bag on payday. And we've got to start girding up. We got to start shoring up the ships. Because like I said, we're moving in the opposite of all those things that I cited. We're eliminating debt. But we're going to talk about it. So let's just go ahead and first and foremost, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't liked, you haven't shared, you haven't subscribed, you need to do those things. As we make the march towards 500 subscribers, and we are working on getting our viewing hours up, so that way we can hopefully semi-simultaneously make those moves to get into monetization, because I got some members-only stuff that I do have cooked up for y'all. Yeah, but we're going to go ahead and jump on into it. When it comes to thinking for the future, it is definitely none of the stuff that we talk about is quick plays, but this touches on some of the things that we're looking at. And we'll start with the first story. We're going to move me down here to the bottom. 40% of middle income Americans say they're depressed about their finances, and inflation and higher interest rates take a huge mental toll. Now, for context, we're talking about who the middle income earners are. And so that's based on, according to the Pew Research Center, middle class earners in the United States are those who earn between 2/3 and double the national median income. In 2021, the median income was $70,784. This means that middle class earners are those who make between $52,200 and $156,600. Okay, so there we have it. So now we know who we're talking about. Now, for this article specifically, there's some interesting things here, but why would you be taking a huge mental toll? Well, it's because these people who are making between $50,000 and $156,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. That's the first mental toll, because if you're paycheck to paycheck, that means if the rent goes up, you got to move. If the cost of anything goes up, now you're in the negative because you can't afford to sustain your lifestyle. And as much as I'm not going to be the person who tells you to not go to Starbucks. Me personally, I make my coffee every morning because those are things that do not help me move forward. Like for me, I look at everything that I purchase in the form ever since I got into crypto, and this could be crypto. So even if it's like $5 can go a long way for my strategy, for what I'm doing. So no, I do fix my own coffee. I do trim back where I can. I do enjoy going out to have a nice meal every once in a while. I enjoy, partaking in a nice date every once in a while. But I keep pretty busy. And generally speaking, I don't date people who aren't also busy. So like, it's not we've got to go blow money every single day. I also value time over money. So, but if you're at a point where everything's inflating and you can no longer afford that lifestyle, like maybe it's time when the Starbucks is costing you $20 a morning to start looking at maybe making your own coffee. Like, I don't know, because if it's gotten to the point to where you're depressed because the price of everything's risen, I mean, Chipotle is getting ready to raise the price of all the burrito bowls $1. Like, stuff's going up. So you got to start reevaluating where you can cut back, where you can make those inroads, or you have to increase your income along with those moves. Those are the only two options, one or the other. Like it's got to play out one way or the other. Like it's not gonna work out any other way. But y'all are depressed. Like that's crazy. Now, let's see. Some 51% of the respondents on this poll that was done by Primerica, and apparently the poll had a margin of error of only 3.3%. So this was a good poll. Shout outs to Primerica. 51% of respondents said that their finances were either not so good or poor. Ugh. Ouch. That's a terrible place to be. That is, I mean, inflation. It's affecting people. Like maybe some people are going to start learning how finance works, how money works. Like now would be a good time. I mean, better late than never, but like you definitely don't want to start having to learn how money works when you can no longer afford to eat. Like that's a terrible state of affairs to be in, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And this study had 1,150 adults with incomes between $30,000 and $130,000, which puts you a little bit outside of the range of median income earners. They went a little bit outside because they hit the 30,000, but 130, you're well in there. And again, like if you're just shooting for average, like, I mean, I don't, the thing that sucks is that this conversation is always tied around like what you're getting paid, and like that's not how wealthy people make money. Wealthy people ain't making money on them paychecks, but you got to start somewhere. So this is a good starting point, but it just goes to show how this is just going to, the middle class is being decimated, and the lower down you are in there, and the less financial, actually, I would say the less financial literacy you have therein is going to start really causing you some problems, because you're not going to be able to deal with inflation because you're buying things. The rest of us are buying assets. Those of us who are getting ready to move outside or trying to move up in this financial hierarchy, because like I don't even play the income game. I don't, like, I tell people straight up, I'm like, I probably make less income than you, probably worth, I'd say, quite a bit more than most people, because all I buy is assets. That's all I worry about. But if you're financially illiterate, then like you're not growing with this, because if your job isn't going to give you the cost of living bonus, cost of living increase and pay, then how are you supposed to exist, right? So now you're making less money, technically doing the same work for less money because everything's more expensive, and that's not going to work out for you. But if you're building assets along with it, you've got something that should be growing, and hopefully if you're doing it in the most efficient way possible, kicking you off some additional income. Not that you should be living off that, but it should be building to a point to where you should be replicating your income. Whatever your bare minimum is for your bills, you should have a portfolio that kicks out that amount of money every year, or building towards it. So that way you're secure no matter what. Like, you know that the bare bricks is covered. And then your income you can put towards other things. You can, like, however you want to hash that out, but it gives you some leeway, it gives you some options. Because businesses aren't doing worse with inflation. Businesses are doing better. So if you own assets, you're winning. You own a house, you're winning, depending on when you bought it. Unless you bought it last week, then you might have a different conversation. But I got mine at the beginning of the pandemic and winning. You're into crypto, you're winning. Like, unless you bought at the last peak, then you just got to wait a little bit longer, got another year and a half, you're going to be winning again. But this is math. And like, a lot of people don't do financial math well. And I've come to find out, like, I'm terrible at so many other types of math, but I'm good at finance math. And it's interesting to see how these people are not grasping these concepts of like, hey, you can't be out here navigating the way that you were. Like, you've got to select when you're going to go have the fun. You got to know when it's time to gird down, when it's time to put in those extra hours, when it's time to stock that money away, not in cash, when it's time to stop saving in cash and get your money active. These are all things that these people aren't doing, which will create a lot of stress once prices start changing. And now your little carefully crafted paycheck to paycheck scenario to keep your lifestyle, to impress people that don't care about you, that house of cards start coming down. And that's exactly what's happening. And why is that? Credit card, record high credit card rates and increased credit card usage. Y'all are using credit cards, paying the most money. And it's causing 57% to say that managing debt is difficult. You bet it is, when them interest rates are going up for you because your credit ain't good to begin with. You living off your credit card because you can't afford the lifestyle that you're putting on airs for other people for. You're not honest about where you're at. You're in a hole, and instead of acknowledging it and dialing back, you choose to just keep digging. And now you're digging at a faster rate because the credit card rates are increased, and y'all are using them more now than when the money was less expensive. Now you're paying more for it. Also depressing, because you know you're going in a hole when that bill comes in and you only paying the minimum and you ain't paying it off. That's the reason, like, they say, like, a lot of the gurus out there will speak out against using credit cards at all because most of you aren't responsible enough. Now, me personally, I'm not a guru, and B, I just talk about what I'm doing, and I am financially responsible. So we gonna get them points. we're gonna get them free trips. We're gonna get that additional income, because why wouldn't I? It's just math. Why wouldn't I like free money? That's ridiculous. But I will tell you one thing we are doing. We are getting ready to stop, because like we'd already talked about, one of the strategies is using debt to create wealth. We're only funding from in-house moving forward. We're funding from sources where we got 6% or under, or it's 0%, because we also know the rule that we have for when we make these plays. All of that money we pull out, we pay back plus 10%. We pay ourselves 10%. So when we use the Cash App, go back and check out the video for the Cash App play. When we borrow against our Cash App balance, what do? It's 6%. We pay back 10, which means we add 4% to the in-house pool. All of these things revolve around you setting up a bank in-house, which means anytime you use your money, you pay it back plus 10. The emergency fund, the $500 that we keep on that emergency fund in our bank account, we're utilizing that for large purchases now. 10%. We're going to build that pool up too. The pool that we have for leveraging crypto, that we got access to money at 0%, paying it back 10%. We're growing that pool every time. But we're getting ready to go back to where I'm not trying to pay these credit cards anything except for the Chase Sapphire, which we use for revolving debt. And I'm probably gonna do a video on why I'm utilizing that and like what we're looking at for that. But that's the only one, but that gets paid off monthly. Like that's just front money. That's immediate front money. And you just go, cool. Like we pay it. You just revolve that around there. And right now it's a little bit shaky because we had a couple of extra purchases. We had a couple of large utility bills, you know what I'm saying? And we front run the utility bills. So there's usually some semblance of a balance in there, but we chunking that out. All the other credit cards we have down to 0 balances. I've got this Cash App loan that we're in the process of knocking out. And I had to get tires. So I did have to buy some tires, and I had to get my rim fixed. So that was a large purchase, which we had the emergency fund money for. Like the emergency fund money is for either stuff that we need. It's not, oh, we've got this pool of money, we're going to go. It's like for car stuff, car maintenance, that type of stuff. So that way we can put it on the card, pay it off, pay myself back plus the 10%. Immediate things like housework, something immediate. Like it's not a luxury purchase. We'll put it that way. But yeah, that aside, like we're only borrowing money for ourselves that we pay back over any span of time. That's not the end of the month at this point. Like that's where we're trying to get to, which means that like you got to make some decisions. Like I'm looking at my grocery bill now. I'm like, okay, what do I need to be eating? Like what efficient things? I mean, obviously I keep myself in good shape. I have to eat. Like I have to eat a lot. Like I'm forcing myself to eat more food now than ever before because I want to keep the weight that I put on. Like it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, that's what we're doing. But it's like, you have to make those adjustments based on what you value. Like we're doing higher quality supplements now, which we're getting ready to start documenting that journey. And it's expensive. Like good quality supplements, like getting your foundation, like obviously ain't nobody got to be as weird as me, but like it's kind of expensive. But like I also had to do the math on it and be like, well, compared to all the individual things that I'm getting, like making some of this more efficient might actually benefit me. So being able to buy in bulk, being able to buy out a little bit, but like some of that, it's stuff that we're, you know, you're getting your monthly core supplements for like $90, but to get it down to that price point, they want you to buy in bulk. So like you're making a $300 purchase, like almost $300. Like you have to have the money to do that too. But buying in bulk, you spend less. Switching over to Costco, using Instacart to make it more efficient because I get a kickback from my Chase Sapphire card. Makes it more efficient. Like now I can continue to record. Somebody else goes and does the grocery shopping for me. Stuff shows up at the door. I just bring it inside, put it in the fridge. Like but also buying in bulk. It's less expensive than buying each individual item and having to go every single week to go pick those things up, which honestly is like probably at minimum 2 hours of my morning at least one day every weekend to like prep for the next week because I have to go do it. Now, some of the stuff I get and it lasts me months or a whole month. Like now I don't have to order I still have to place an order every week, but it's not a bulk order. Like I only have to get like one or two things, like 2 or 3 things. And yeah, I could probably go swing through and get that myself, but I mean, I don't want to make the stops. Like it's not as efficient. Like I can't get my stuff recorded. So it's just knowing how to get this set up. But this article leads into what the title of the video's article is. American families' risk of falling into a doom loop. Now, this is kind of a big deal. Like the issue is this says the risk of falling into. Most of you are there. Most of y'all are there. American families are facing a confluence of financial challenges, including record high inflation, cited in the last article, escalating cost of mortgage rates that make it nearly impossible for young families to purchase a home. To make matters worse, an abrupt job loss could lead to a financial doom spiral. I think I would posit to say that most of you who are not managing your finances well, who are not taking it seriously, who are living by the cuff, who have increased your credit card spending with the astronomical rate increases that credit cards are seeing, you're already there. You're already spiraling. You just haven't lost your job. Nearly 75% of adults in the United States are stressed about their personal finances. You're darn right you are, because you know you're spiraling. That's the reason you want to get online, talk about modern women. You want to get online. You want to talk about what we need to do in the community, which is funny. It's not what we need to do. It's what everyone else needs to do. It's not what we need to do. You guys want to talk about everything else. All of a sudden, you can't manage your finances, but you're a geopolitical expert and you're on a team on a war that has nothing to do with this country. You're so distracted. You want to argue about sports and your favorite sports ball team and you're broke. You want to get online and posit like you know stuff that you don't actually know because you're 75%. That's most of y'all. Just saying. With no consistent presence about what you're doing, what you're done, no receipts, no nothing. Just on here talking, arguing, just on panels to argue. 61% of Americans are reporting living paycheck to paycheck. To feel financially secure, around 70% of working Americans say they would need an annual salary of at least $150,000, which is not true because most of you are so financially illiterate that you would spend all that money too because you're spending every dime you have now. There are people making $150,000 a year that are living paycheck to paycheck because they're financially stupid. A high salary does not automatically indicate that someone is financially literate. There's households right now that are pulling in over 150 that are broke, paycheck to paycheck, because they don't get it. Inflation remains the primary source of financial worries impacting workers today, as 61% say inflation contributes to their anxiety about money. Inflation is exposing the problem. It's not inflation's fault that you were spending your entire paycheck. You were doing that before the inflation showed up to your doorstep to let you know that you are now broke again. It's not the inflation that's the issue for these people. The inflation has ripped off the Band-Aid to show a nasty wound called your finances are a mess. You are terrible at managing your money. Therefore, you don't have any. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a stack. Credit card debt, retirement fund withdrawals, and student loans. This is getting into the doom spiral here. Now, part of what this is going to, like, the national average for credit card debt is $5,733, which honestly, during the bull run, generally speaking, I'll give myself a float of about $5,000 in credit card debt. Not going to lie. And you'll say, oh, well, you're losing the 27%. Yeah, but I'm making a few 100%. So it's not a loss for me. It's a loss for you with your financial situation. Because you don't do the same math that I do, because you're not in the same situation that I am. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, we can talk about it. Tap in for guns and butter. I'd be more than happy to talk about it. But the issue is this. I'm not even doing that going into this bull run. Why? Because of the astronomical credit card rates. They're taking away the cheap money. And if there's no cheap money, you know what else I have? A reserve of my money to finance myself. Just saying. Some of us prepared for winter. Did you? Now, will it be as much as what I normally have? No. Am I going to utilize it? Yep. But also, I have the portfolio. Like, I have a bunch of different mechanisms to leverage with. But keeping this amount of debt is almost just throwing money away for most of you. And what's happening? Not only are you guys keeping high debt balances, you're also pulling into your retirement savings. Your student loans just got turned back on. You have no money. You're broke. Now the income that you're coming in, your monthly income into your household is negative dollars. And not only that, you're not carrying this debt to build up your asset base. You're just doing this to impress the people that live next door, that live across the street, so that you can get online and say that you're doing something, you flexing, buying all your luxury stuff secondhand. Cool. Not to say that you shouldn't, because look, we're going to put this, because I've seen a lot of these conversations in some of these chat rooms that, oh, that's secondhand Gucci. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? It should be secondhand. It's the same thing as trying to shame people for buying used cars. If you buy a new car, you're stupid. You paid extra money to drive it off the lot and lose 20%. Like, that financially is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Everybody wants to judge everybody else's situation. What is your net worth? What assets do you own? Do you own anything? Then shut up. Because nobody, and I mean this, nobody who's wealthy, ask if somebody pulls up in a nice car if the car's brand new. Nobody asks if their clothes were secondhand. Where did you get those pants? Did you buy them new off the rack? No one asks that shit, because no one who actually has money cares. No one cares. But you guys are starting out. You guys are jumping into these doom spirals, and it's like, you got to understand what the spiral is. It's the high debt, high credit card utilization. You don't have money. Like, you couldn't afford it, so you put it on the card. Student loans get turned back on. Well, that was money you guys should have been prepared to pay anyways, because they gave you a moratorium, but you spent that money. You didn't even set it aside to pay anything back. You spent the money. You didn't add up no assets to maybe get you to a space where you could do whatever, nothing. You just spent the money. Dipping into your retirement savings. You are broke. So broke that you're going into the money for the future to pay for now, so that you can continue to impress people. Because you don't want to trim your lifestyle back, because you feel entitled to it. Well, the easy money's gone, and now you might not be entitled to it. You got to cut to the quick, man. You got to go down to the bare minimum. You might have to go back to the mud for a little bit. Stuff's about to get bad for everybody. And you guys are going to have to start making these decisions to figure out what we need to do. What do you need to do in your financial state right now to prepare yourself to get ahead? Are you teaching your kids? Are you guys having conversations? Are you still in a group of friends that don't talk about money? Y'all just out here drowning, positing no solutions, and don't even want to talk about it. Okay, cool story. That sounds great. You want to get on panels and talk about sports and then tell everybody you got it with no verifiable anything. You just say that. Everybody gets online and just says, I got it. I'm good. Okay. Well, we're going to find out. We are definitely going to find out here pretty soon. Because winter, the financial winter, is coming. And a lot of you are on the other side of the wall financially. And we about to see it. We about to start asking people questions like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why are you out here looking down bad? What's up? You okay? You good? Those questions are getting ready to come. Like it's getting ready to happen. And I hope y'all are ready. Because this is going to be, because where there's chaos, there is opportunity, folks. Let's remember that. Because those of you who are sitting out here posturing, pretending, while you're getting exposed, those of us who are preparing are about to start buying everything up and running the bag up. And then when it's time for you to get back in the game, we're going to sell it to you at a premium, because that's what winners do. It's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are getting ready to sign on out. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't forget to tap in later for Guns and Butter, because we're about to throw it down. We're going to continue some conversations. Going to have a good time. Open panel. You can ask questions in the chat. You can come up and ask questions live, and I will answer them. People on the panel will help answer them. We'll give you the best context that we can. And we're going to keep the conversation pushing, because over here in the Wolf Pack, it is winners only. It's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, and I'm out.